Hi guys, my name is Trin and today I'm here to do my March wrap up. Now, I will make this video really quickly, or like I have to film this video really quickly because my friend is picking me up in like 15 minutes. We're going to the Cherry Blossom Festival in Washington DC, but I really want to film this video and I should have filmed this video an hour ago, but I was taking so long doing my makeup even though it looks kind of simple, but still I like it. I like this makeup look, you know, but I should have filmed this video an hour ago because now I am stressed. But for March, I have read 11 books, but I will say that I read a lot of graphic novels and manga. This bitch. Anyway, sorry about that. Everyone is stressed right now. I'm trying to say that I have read a lot of graphic novels and manga, and I read like one poetry book, but for novels, I have only read one novel. I have started so many novels in March, but I didn't make a lot of progress, so hopefully in April I get to read a lot of amazing books and novels and such, because I feel like I haven't read a novel in a while, which is crazy. And the battery's about to die. Oh my damn, I'm so pissed right now. And then for movies, I have 3 movies I want to talk about, and then for music I have 1 song to talk about. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about in March is this brand new song that came out in the very beginning of March. I think it was like on the first day. It's called Sucker by the Jonas Brothers, and I was so shocked to see this song and the music video. It was just, it feels like I was like, I don't know, 11. I feel like I'm so fucking old now. Anyway, the Jonas Brothers is back together. They came out with a new song in March and it's called Sucker, and the music video was so damn good. When I was watching it, I'm just like, wow, this is like a huge upgrade from their Disney Channel days. It's crazy that they're back together, and I think they're going to come out with a new album. I mean, I'm expecting a new album because they're coming out with new music and such. Sucker by the Jonas Brothers is so good. The music video is also really good. I really enjoyed this song. It's very catchy and I cannot wait for more music from the Jonas Brothers because I actually really like them. I mean, I was not like a die-hard fan when I was young like everyone was, you know, but I still like them. I really enjoy their music and I cannot wait to get more music or like hear more music from them in like 2019. So of course this song deserves a 5 out of 5 stars. It was really good. The first movie I saw is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So I saw this movie in the theaters with my friend Jonathan because I don't know what happened. Oh yeah, we hung out in the beginning of March and then we decided to see a movie and then we watched this because I have never watched this movie and everyone I know loves this movie and it was like really good, and I watched this movie. It was really good. It was very enjoyable. It's definitely different from like the other Spider-Man movies, but this one has a really cool concept. Basically, the main character is Miles Morales. He gets, you know, bitten by a spider and such. It's like the same typical kind of story, but there are different Spider-Man versions in different different dimension. Yeah, it was kind of weird, but I still enjoy it. It was really funny. I really enjoy the graphics. Oh my god, that shit is something else. It's really cool. It's really nice, funny. It's quite sad. There's a scene that I teared up. Other than that, it was really enjoyable, but I don't love this movie like everyone did. I know everyone like loves this movie, like really love it, and even though I enjoy the movie, I don't love it. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's not bad at all. It's fantastic, but I guess I'm just not a die-hard fan for Spider-Man and shit like this, but I enjoyed the movie, so that's something, and it's really hot right now, so I really want to make this really quick. So for this movie, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. The first 3 books that I read in March are all manga, so of course I'm talking about the Fullmetal Alchemist volume 7, 8, and 9, and this is written by Hiromu Arakawa. I don't know how to say her name, so I'm very sorry. This is a manga that I read in March, and if you don't know, in 2019 I decided to just read the Fullmetal Alchemist manga and I've been enjoying it so much. This is actually very good, and I'm not gonna lie, like as I was reading this, I was just like, oh wow, this is so predictable because I watched the damn anime in January, but it was still really good. So 7, 8, and 9, all 3 volumes, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. There isn't one that really stood out to me. Like, yeah, I enjoy it, but at the same time, there isn't one that I was like, oh my god, 5 out of 5 stars. I love it so much. No, that's for like the later volumes. So this one, I will talk about this one later, don't worry. But as of volume 7, 8, and 9, I gave 3 of these volumes 4 out of 5 stars. It was still good. Like, if you want to read the manga, then definitely read the manga and continue with the story. But if you don't want to read the manga, just watch the damn anime. It's on Netflix and they're all fucking good, okay? So that's what I have to say for this one. The only novel that I read in March is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. So I read this book for school for my English 469 class. So that class is about about race and disabilities. We read this book in March and I actually finished it, which is a good thing because sometimes I don't finish my novels. A trigger warning for this one. So I really want to provide the trigger warnings in the very beginning because I think this is very important for everyone. Trigger warning for this book: rape, incest, pedophilia, and domestic abuse. One of the main characters in this book is Piccola. We're going to mostly talk about her because she has the most tragic life ever. Piccola is an African-American girl and basically she grows up in a place where she just desires like having like blonde hair and blue eyes and lighter skin. It's like, you know, the typical beauty standard that if you have pale skin and you have blue eyes and blonde hair and all these things, then you're deemed as beautiful. But if you're like, you know, a dark-skinned girl, it's just you're not beautiful. And it's really depressing to see how the young girls in this book, they view people who are white as like beautiful and all these things. But then it's also interesting how Piccola desires these traits in order to be beautiful and in order to feel beautiful. But really, this book is actually about how Piccola's dad raped her. It's really terrifying because this rape scene is from the predator's perspective, so it's from the dad's perspective, and it's really crazy. I feel like this is my first time reading a rape scene where it's not from the victim's perspective at all, but it's still horrifying. It's still really scary, and it's heartbreaking to see Piccola dealing with this because I feel like she does not have the right support group. Like I said, we see the rape scene from the dad's perspective and there are multiple perspectives, and it's interesting how everyone is humanized. Even the villains, they're humanized, but that does not mean that what they did was excused whatsoever. You know, we learn quite a bit about him and his childhood and all these things, but that does not excuse his action against his daughter, like him raping his daughter. No way, that's still really fucked up. I hated it. I hate him so much, but it's still interesting to see that he's still human, you know, even though he did some shitty things like this. At the end of the day, I give this book 3 out of 5 stars. It was quite good, but at the same time, I finished this book after everyone else finished this book because I still want to know what happened, you know. I'm glad I read this book because I've heard really good things about Toni Morrison, and I know that she has written other novels as well, and I feel like I should read them, you know. So I'm really glad that I read this book for school. So yeah, I give this book 3 out of 5 stars. The next 2 graphic novels that I read are the More Instruments graphic novel. This is volume 1, and then this is volume 2. So I got both of these books for my birthday in February, and I'm planning to film a book haul soon, so I will, you know, give shout outs to the people who gave me shit in February and March. But for now, I'm just going to quickly talk about these 2 graphic novels. The thing that threw me off, because I thought that the first volume is just City of Bones and then the second volume is City of Ashes. No, basically these 2 volumes are City of Bones. So think of it as the first half of City of Bones, and then this is the second half of City of Bones. So these 2 are City of Bones, and then volume 3 I believe is City of Ashes. Let's quickly talk about these 2 graphic novels. When I was reading this, I was very shocked to see some grammatical errors and some spelling errors. This is the final copy, and I saw some grammatical errors. Like for example, I don't remember what page, but the word because, it was spelled incorrectly in this graphic novel, and I was really shocked because the whole time I'm like, bruh, because is a word that everyone can spell. Why is it misspelled in this book, you know? And it's the final copy and such. I'm very anal about this shit. And as I was reading the first volume, I feel like there's no romantic tension between Clare and Chase. If you don't know, in the first novel, Clare and Chase obviously has something going on, and I feel like I didn't really see that in this first volume. What else is there? Oh yeah, oh my god, I noticed this. So in the novel, we have a scene where Clare slaps Chase, and I thought that shit was so funny because if you know the context, it's actually really funny. But we don't have that scene here, and I was like, what the fuck? We don't have that iconic scene where Clare slaps Chase. Like, what the hell is this? But I do notice that there is a scene that is not in the novel. So it's basically when Simon kisses Isabel, or Isabel kisses Simon. Anyway, we don't have that scene in City of Bones. Like, we did not see that scene, but it was mentioned, I don't remember which novel, but it was mentioned in the later books that they did kiss in City of Bones. So we didn't see that scene in the novel, but in the graphic novel, we actually see Isabel kissing Simon. So I thought that was really interesting, and I was like pleasantly surprised when I read that scene. Other than that, I give this graphic novel 3 out of 5 stars. Like volume 1, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. But let's quickly talk about volume 2. The art style makes this graphic novel really funny. So I really enjoy volume 2 way more than the first volume. I really like Clare in the second volume. This is shocking because in the first book, I really did not like the main character, Clare. I thought she was a little bit annoying in City of Bones, the novel, but in here, I really enjoy her character, and I think it has to do with like the art style because she is so freaking cute in the second volume. So I really enjoy her character. I thought she was adorable. When Luke tells his tale, so you know, like the tale that he has to tell in the novel, I really appreciate the art style in this second volume, and it was beautiful. I love the visual that we get, and Sierra's here, so I'm fucked. I do think that things were really rushed in this book, so towards the end, you know, a lot of things happen at the end, and I feel like we were really rushed. I was like, oh shit, so we really have to wrap this up really quickly. I mean, like, I get that it's a graphic novel and there's like a certain page limit, so you gotta wrap shit up. At the same time, they took out the part that I don't like in the actual novel. So basically when Clary was like shitting on Isabel, because Clary was like very insecure in the first book and she really did not like Isabel because Isabel is this beautiful girl with like dark hair and it's long and she's like tall and she's sexy as hell, and Clary really hates her guts in like the first novel, and I really like that we don't see that in this graphic novel. So they took out that part. I was very happy about it because I think it's so unnecessary, and I know eventually they become like close friends and such, but I just never like seeing that in the original novel. So I really like seeing, wait, what the hell am I saying? I'm trying to say that I really like the fact that we don't see that situation in this graphic novel. So for the second volume, I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. So now I'm going to the Cherry Blossom Festival. So I will continue filming this wrap up sometime in the future. Hopefully today, like when I come back, hopefully I can finish this video. I'm so fucking sorry for this mess. So it's literally 9 o'clock right now, and I just got back from the Cherry Blossom Festival. It was really fun. I hung out with my friends, and now I am here to finish the rest of the video. So we have like a few more things to talk about, and I really want to make this quick. The next book that I read in March is a poetry book, and it's called The Mermaid's Voice Returns, and this one by Amanda Lovelace. As you can see, this is the Target edition. So I believe the regular edition is just all purple with white font, but this one has some really interesting, oh wait, it looks really cool. Anyway, I just fucking realized this is a mermaid's tail in green. My dumbass, I thought it was just like stars, but I just realized this is a mermaid's tail, shit. It's been a long day, okay? I'm ready to go to sleep. This is the last poetry book in her Woman or Some Kind of Magic trilogy. So the first one is The Princess Saves Herself in this one, and then the second one is The Witch one. And this is the last in the trilogy, The Mermaid's Voice Returns in this one. This poetry book is about the Me Too movement and the sexual assault and what Amanda went through when she was in a very unhealthy relationship with one of her ex. What's really cool is that the last part of this poetry book is called The Surviving. Amanda has other poets write a piece, and then she put it in this book. So we see quite a lot of poets, you know, like Sophia Elaine Hansen and Jenna Clare and other pretty well-known authors, or like, you know, like authors in the community. It's so cool to see how Amanda gives other poets like a platform to talk about this issue. I'm sure so many people went through this type of situation, you know, like sexual assault and sexual abuse, unhealthy relationships and stuff like that. So I think it's really amazing that Amanda gives this opportunity to a lot of people. To be honest, I did not love this poetry book at all, and maybe it has to do with the fact that I read this so slowly. And of course, another thing that I found when I was reading this book is that I am very indifferent when it comes to mermaids. If you don't know, this book is like about mermaids and stuff. There are some really good poems, but overall I think it's the fact that I feel very disconnected with this poetry book, and I did not love it like I did with the very first poetry book in this trilogy. And when it comes to this, I was just like, this is good. There are some good poems in this, but overall I did not love it like I did with the first book. But if you still want to continue with the trilogy, I highly recommend doing so. Overall, I give this book 3 out of 5 stars. Sorry, I keep saying overall, and I'm losing my mind a little bit because I'm so tired. The next 3 books that I read are obviously the Fullmetal Alchemist manga. So this is volume 10, 11, and 12. This was so good. I feel like I talk about this all the time, and I know earlier I didn't really give you a proper synopsis of the story overall, but if you want the synopsis of like the first few volumes, then check out my February wrap up, because I definitely give you a pretty decent synopsis in that video. But here, oh my god, volume volume 10, 11, 12 was so freaking good. I remember watching this scene in the anime and I was so shook. I was caught off guard, but it was still really good, and it's so interesting to see it on papers and such. Volume 10, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was still enjoyable, but volume 11, 5 out of 5 stars. Volume 11 was so damn good. There were a few parts that I was like tearing up because I got really emotional, and I love the relationship between Edward and Alphonse so much. If you don't know, they are brothers in the manga, in the anime, in the story overall, and I love the fact that they love each other so much, and I just love the characters. Damn, it's just really good. And volume 12, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because, you know, it's still good. So overall, I gave volume 10 and 12 4 out of 5 stars, and then the 11th volume, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. So that's all I have to say for this one. So the second movie that I watched is Us, and it's directed by Jordan Peele. I'm sure everyone has heard about this movie because it was like such a big deal. If you don't know, Jordan Peele is the director of Get Out. It came out 2 years ago. It was a big success and everyone loved that movie and such. So when we found out that Jordan Peele is coming out with a new horror film, a lot of people had high expectation, and I of course had high expectation, and I watched Us with Jonathan, and it was really good. This movie follows a African-American family. There's the parents and then the 2 kids. Lupita Nyong'o is actually the main character, so her name is Adelaide. So Adelaide and her family, they're going to Santa Monica for like the summer, and then of course one day their doppelgangers show up and they try to kill them, and a lot of stuff happened basically. So that's like the basic premise, but I highly recommend watching the trailer because the trailer is so good. Like, it's a well edited trailer, so watch that shit if you haven't watched the trailer. Like, if you don't know what the story is about, watch the trailer. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars because I really enjoy it. When it comes to Us, everything was all over the place, but in like a really fascinating way, because as you're watching the movie, you're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, and I love that shit, you know. It's not exactly scary, but it made me jump a few times here and there because I was freaking the fuck out. I feel like this is my very first horror film that I watched in the theater. So I watched this on opening day. You know, it was a big deal for me because I never watched shit on opening day, but I was so excited for this movie, and I really did enjoy this movie. Oh my god. The acting is amazing. Lupita Nyong'o did an amazing job in this film, and I really want to see it the second time because when it comes to films by Jordan Peele, you need to watch them a second time to really understand what happened and what you missed the first time you saw it, you know. So I really want to watch it the second time. I don't know if I have time, to be honest, because like I'm so busy right now, but I would love to watch it the second time because it's really good, and I feel like I missed so much when I watch it on opening day. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. Highly recommend this film if you haven't watched it already. The third movie that I watched is Wolf Children. So this film was forced by Jonathan because he was like, you should watch this film, and we watched it, you know. When was it? I think we watched it 2 weeks ago. It's been a while. My mind is all over the place right now. This movie is about a woman named Hannah, and she met this guy and he turns out to be a wolf. They got together and they have 2 children together, and then one day the dad passed away, and it's basically her raising her 2 children because they are mixed human and then mixed wolf. She loves her children very much and she tries her hardest to take care of them. So I really like the fact that this movie is really about a single mother raising her 2 children, and she's so fucking nice. This is the first time I've seen a mom who's just genuinely nice. There's no scene of her yelling and being mad and all these things. Like, she's just really patient and caring and kind. This movie is really about like her mom taking care of her children and giving them the opportunity to be who they want to be, because since they're half human, half wolf, they get to choose their own identity. Like, if they want to be human, fine. If they want to be a wolf, that's fine too. The animation is beautiful. It's so realistic. Throughout this entire film, it's just really calming. Like, the animation, like I said, is just beautiful. Like, it's genuinely beautiful, and it's just peaceful, and yet it's quite sad. It's just like really good. I don't love it, to be honest. Like, I'm trying not to offend Jonathan in case he watches this. Overall, I was like, damn, what a film, you know? But at the same time, I don't love it. Like, it's not a film that I will watch it again. I think this guy watched it like 3 times. But for me, I don't want to watch it again because it was like 2 hours long. There were a few parts where I was just like, where's the story going? There were a few parts where I was just kind of bored. But by the end, I was crying. That says a lot about me, to be honest. me crying about every fucking thing. So at the end of the day, I give this film 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoy it, and if you haven't watched this film, go ahead and watch it. If you want like a really nice and chill, peaceful film, watch this because it's just really relaxing in a way, but it will make you cry, so it's up to you. The last book that I read in March is a graphic novel, and this is called Fun Home, a family tragicomic by Alison Bechdel. I think that's how you say her name. I really don't know. So I read this book for school. This is for my gender woman studies class, and I read this graphic novel because we had to, and we discussed this in class. So it was really interesting, and I actually kind of enjoyed it. This is a graphic memoir. So this is about Alison's life, and basically in this book she comes out as a lesbian, but then once she came out, her mom was like, oh yeah, your dad is actually gay. So we learned that her father, whose name I don't remember to be honest, her father had affairs with young teenage boys. We will talk about that. It's really about Alison and how she came to realize that her dad is not who she thought, you know, and all of things happened. We really learned about her family life when she was young and how they live in this place. It's like a funeral home. It's literally a funeral home. Then her dad passed away. We learned how she came to realize that she's a lesbian, and it has to do with sexuality. It's just a lot in this graphic novel. So I didn't even know that this is a Broadway musical. This was on the damn cover for the longest time, and I didn't even realize it until I finished the book. Now when it comes to this graphic novel, I really enjoyed the first half of this because basically for class we read the first half on Tuesday and then the second half for Thursday. So by Tuesday I read the first half and I really enjoyed it, but then when I finished the rest I was really lost because the whole time I'm like, what is this? So yeah, I really enjoyed the first half, not really with the second half. Now let's talk about how her father had affairs with teenage boys. It was mentioned and I'm like, what the fuck? And I don't like the fact that we don't talk about it. I know that this is a memoir and the people in this book is real, you know, they're all real people. Her dad was real, but I don't like the fact that when we talk about how he had affairs with teenage boys, I'm like, bruh, that's illegal, that's fucked up, it's bad. Why don't we talk about how that's bad? Like, why did we only focus on him being gay? Like, okay, that's fine, him being gay and stuff like that, but he cheated on his wife. He's pretty abusive to be honest, and then this fucked up thing that he did, like having sex with teenage boys, is really fucked up. Another thing that I didn't really connect to in this book is that basically her dad loves reading and Alison also loves reading. Sometimes when she was like my age, like in her 20s and such, so she would read the same novels that her dad read. They bonded over the books that they read, and then she also connected like the characters in those books to her life, like how she's this character and how her dad is this character, and then they would talk about the novels they read, and I was so lost because I did not read those novels. Like, I'm sure like they're good and shit, but I did not read them, so of course I was lost the entire time because she would compare herself and her dad to the characters in those novels, and I did not understand it. Even though I don't love the story because I feel kind of disconnected to it, I still really appreciate the story because I know for a fact a lot of people really appreciate the story and they find comfort in the story. So my boss loves this story, like she knows about it because I mentioned it to her, and then we end up talking about it a little bit. So I appreciate the fact that this book helped a lot of people. Even though it didn't help me personally, I'm sure it helped a lot of people out there, and I think that's a good thing. Overall, I give this book 3 out of 5 stars. It's not bad whatsoever, but I feel like I just didn't love it, you know, like other people did, but that's okay. So this is the last book that I read in March, and that's the end of the video. It's been a long day. I'm sorry for like not giving you a good wrap up and shit, but I promise April will be much better. I think I have some really good books to talk about in April, so I cannot wait for the end of the month where I get to do, you know, the monthly wrap up. But this video is just all over the place because I took a damn break in the middle of filming to go to a festival in DC, and then I came back and the lighting is completely different because this is not natural lighting. I'm using my lamp to film this video, but hopefully when I edit this video it looks kind of decent. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.